let's get Academic. This is not only the first offering on the channel from Akademia Brewing Company, but it's also the first one for me in general from Akademia. I think so. I don't recall one I've had in the past. I got this from Branden, the owner of homebrew outfit Runic Aleworks, and it's called Death Ripper with this evil looking guy on the can. So what do you say we get a little educated of sorts? Find out what Academia is all about right after the theme song. Welcome on back into the Midland studio as per usual with your host, Nutmeg 2 Palmetto. This one, Death Ripper. What a menacing name. And what a menacing can. All this, I don't know if I want to say Pentecostal or it's the right application of that word, but a lot of this kind of etchings and scrawlings of kind of demon or devil stuff, like a little, there's a like pentagram, that's what I want to say, but it wasn't the right application. Yeah, see, there's even a pentagram up on the corner. So there's a lot of this kind of dark symbolism on the can. It's really awesome looking. And then this character on the front with it's almost like, another word that's escaping me. I don't want to say labyrinth, but he's got these big horns, he's got a scythe behind him, big beady red eyes. I'll try to get that as close as possible so you can see it. So pretty scary, dark looking can. Pretty awesome. It's a hazy IPA with Mosaic and Sabro. Hazy IPAs. Now it's weird, on Untappd, it's classified as an American IPA, which hazy, you think New England. So maybe in this case I'll just categorize it as an IPA, and if IPA is your thing, we're going down in the comments. The first one pinned has a link to a playlist of the other IPAs I've done on the channel in the past. So check that out at your leisure, and maybe you'll see something else that I've done in the past that you like or tickles your fancy otherwise. This is 6%, so it's pretty moderate gravity. The other thing about the can is really shiny. Sorry, squirrel! And the other thing I can tell from the can is it's volume 9. So this is a consistent running series, Death Ripper. And this is the most latest one, which wasn't too long ago, 11/3. It's mid to late March when I'm recording this, so it's not too bad. I did get it, as I said before, from Branden, the owner of Runic Aleworks, homebrew outfit in the upstate of South Carolina. So someone obviously passed this off to him, and he passed it off to me. Now, this didn't take exactly a super long transit because Academia is in Athens, home of the, of course, two-time defending national champion Georgia Bulldogs in college football. There's not a huge sample size on Untappd, 154 total, 150 unique, 129 of which are ranked. It is a pretty high global ranking despite a relatively small sample size of 3.94. Pictures look good. It's a nice hazy, kind of like half dark, half thin type of orange color. And I'm scratching my head, really wondering if I've had an Academia before. I'm sure I probably had, but if I had, it'd be very rare, and that's not going to come to memory off the top of my head. So, regardless, it's certainly the first one on the channel. So, let's not waste any more time. Get right to it and crack this open. Ooh, little explosion. Nice. Ooh, got close. So it's got a pretty nice color on it. It's got a rich white, milky, creamy head. into the last drop. Dropless, burp the baby, burp the baby, burp the baby, burp the baby. I will say there is it's a little hard to read, but it's kind of, it looks like Greek on the back, maybe. I mean, Akademia is kind of spelled in a Greek way with Greek letters. Ovid, Bibus, Abius. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of that, and then it's got this little owl on the bottom too, above that saying. I don't know if you can see that, but like a Archimedes kind of owl. But anyway, back to the beer. Big, creamy, milky looking, frothy top on that. Settled it down. It's definitely more than 2 fingers worth. Very foamy. Color is, I guess, kind of the middle of the road for that typical other half treehouse type of orange hazy color. You pull it back from the light, it does have a little bit of a darker. It's got a little more of that spectrum where it's like darker up here and it gets lighter down at the bottom. In the light it's a little more consistent, but light saturates things. Anyway, I'm wasting time. Glad that doesn't smell like bubblegum, because I did get a whiff of bubblegum when I was pouring it, or popping it rather, and I was like, oh man, that's way too strong. I don't like bubblegum. But that's definitely not what I'm getting. This has a very pure orange type of aroma. There's no overpowering hoppy notes in it. Very just kind of like a pure sweet orange type of aroma. So I mean, that sounds pretty good to me. What do you say we get right to it, not wasting more time, and take a sip? Okay. So I definitely need to stop horsing around and finally make the trip out to Athens to try Akademia in person, because I've kind of been putting it off, and Atlanta is a little bit of a far run. Athens isn't quite as far, but it's more or less pretty close to the same distance time-wise. It's on the eastern side of Atlanta by a little bit of a margin, so it's definitely not quite as far, but it's in that same track, so to speak. But it might not be off. I don't recall seeing any signs for it off I-20. So I think it's a little bit off the beaten track a little bit, but it's generally in that direction. Anyway, but yeah, I definitely got to get off. I definitely got to stop making excuses, or not making excuses, just being lazy, and make it out there to try this in person, because this is pretty soft. It's solid. It definitely has a bit of a hoppy, piney bite up front. That doesn't last very long. It goes away. Goes away very quickly. There's no aftertaste. So I would say mainly on the flavor profile, it's hoppy, it's piney. I wouldn't necessarily go as far as saying bitter, although sometimes those are like kissing cousins. But that's not... I wouldn't necessarily call this bitter. I definitely call it hoppy. I definitely call it piney. I would not call it bitter. It's fairly soft in the palate, and it doesn't have an aftertaste to speak of whatsoever. So it's actually very nice and palatable. So thanks, Branden, for that, and definitely lighting a fire under me to get out to Akademia and check them out in person. Finally, if you like what you saw from me, smash that like button. Subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so exactly when my reviews drop. And if you want to recommend a beer to me, maybe send me a beer, or just chat me up and make a new friend, email me, nutmeg2palmetto@gmail.com. If you want the rest of my day-to-day insanity, follow me on my social media channels, TikTok and Instagram @nutmeg2palmetto. That's very good. Thanks to Branden from Runic. Good job, Akademia. Cheers to the rest of you folks. I'll see you later.